Hello and welcome to the Sonic Board podcast for the third time tonight. It is July 20th, 2014. I'm your host, DeoxysPrime, and still with me I have DL.
Hi.
Mule.
Hello.
And Shellblade.
Hello.
So this is the third time recording the intro for this fucking podcast tonight because of technical difficulties. So basically to explain what's going to happen is, after this intro, we're going to cut into what I have left of the second podcast, and then after that, I'm going to cut into what's left of the third podcast. So
the first one.
Yeah, well, fuck. So yeah, if it sounds all weird and messed up, that's why.
Which originally included Frank and Kenny.
Yeah, so when you hear Frank and Kenny at the end of it, don't be shocked. They were here earlier tonight, like 4 or 5 hours ago. And that's basically it.
Funk really provides some excellent situational humor.
Did you work out when you're gonna go visit him?
No. I still haven't gotten my schedule for work, so.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about that in the last podcast, so we can talk about that now.
Oh great!
You're gonna fucking work at a Japanese restaurant.
Yeah, and I get to wear a cute Japanese outfit.
The yukata.
Yeah.
Except it's not really one.
I don't know. I mean that's what they call it, but it's like a short one. It's like a shirt.
So do any men in Japan wear those?
Yeah, I mean like the long ones, yeah. I know it's a thing in like touristy places. Like if you go to a like a hot spring resort sort of place, mm-hmm. People wear them to kind of get into the mood, I guess, of being in like a more rustic area.
Yeah.
But I would imagine in the more rural places in Japan, it's a popular choice during the summer.
Yeah, because I mean, I know pretty much my only standard for Japanese culture is anime, and you rarely see that in anime.
Yeah, it's always the girls who wear them.
I mean, for good reason. I always fucking love how like anytime there's like a fucking summer festival episode, you got the girls trying them on. Like, do we look kawaii ugu? Shellblade, do you have any idea what we're talking about?
Oh no, I haven't been paying attention at all.
Do you want to explain what that outfit is, DL?
Oh, okay. So like the traditional yukata.
Yeah.
I mean, my name is Ken Sama.
Yeah. It's basically that. Really. That's basically what it is. I mean, it's basically just a not as fancy kimono.
Are those supposed to be fancy?
Well, yeah.
You never noticed that, Mule?
Nope.
Do you wear them around town?
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, like, I don't, personally. I mean, if I walked out on one of those, people would look at me weird and call me a faggot, but...
I mean, they tell you that anyway. Yeah, let's be honest.
Get the fuck out of it. If you went to Japan, okay, not if you went to Japan, but if you were a Japanese person in Japan, which I guess is some pretty strict criteria, then yeah, you could wear it around town.
No, I'm pretty sure the Japanese would probably call you faggot too.
What's the Japanese word for that?
Faggotu.
Probably not it, but...
They actually do use the word homo.
Yeah, I hear that all the time in anime. Like, anytime they refer to something as gay or homosexual, it's just homo, which is kind of weird.
Like, oh shit, that's homo.
Yeah, they're a little bit behind the times. Awkward. But yeah, so like, what kind of Japanese restaurant is it that you're working at? Just like a normal one, or a sushi place, or whatever?
So I guess it's kind of a mix of both, or like everything really. It's got sushi, it's got katsu, it's got ramen, it's got hot pot, and all that kind of shit. And I guess it's supposed to be like upscale.
Do they do that thing where they cook at your table?
No, that's hibachi.
Oh. I've always wanted to go one of those places, but I never have.
They're actually pretty cool. I think they're more of a Western thing. But yeah, I've been to one once. Excuse me. And they're pretty neat because you'll order the shit and the guy will come over and like cook the shit, and like the one I went to, he'd like throw shit at you to like catch it in your mouth.
Did you catch it?
I did, in fact. So either he had good aim or I'm really good at catching stuff with my mouth. Whatever that means.
Nice.
But he fed you. That's like an intimate thing.
I should have kissed him.
It was basically an indirect kissu. Hey, Mule, how's your job search going?
Poorly.
About as well as mine.
Yep.
Shellblade, what are you doing this summer?
Well, not much at all. Besides the Mexico thing. Didn't I actually... We already covered it. We already covered it, even though it's been cut out.
So, Shellblade, tell us, for those who don't know, which is, of course, all of us, how did your Mexico trip go? What did you do there?
I can sum it up for him. Is this okay, Shellblade?
Fuck you!
He went ziplining. He fucked a Mexican chick, and he tried to watch Smash Brothers.
And then he spent the rest of the time on Skype with us.
Yep, pretty much. That's what you do when you go to Mexico.
Okay, I spent like an hour out 3 nights with you guys, maybe 2 hours.
Shellblade.
Yeah.
On like at least 2 of those nights, I called you like an hour before the Skype chat. And we just talked about Smash Brothers for an hour.
We did.
Before the full Skype chat began.
Holy shit. We are fucking lame.
Well, I mean, it's not like there's much of a nightlife in Mexico.
Well, I mean, there's definitely a nightlife, but...
It involves getting killed in drug-related activities. I guess you didn't go to the dangerous part of Mexico.
It was Puerto Vallarta, which fucking tourist town.
Isn't that place in that Pokemon anime for that one episode?
Absolutely. Yeah. The one where Ash catches the cocaine.
I was thinking the Lost episode, but... Do you remember that?
Which Lost episode? There were a few.
The Beauty and the Beach one.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yes. So, for some reason, I'll tell you the reason. I have a very specific memory of that episode, and it's like the weirdest thing. So, like, around that time, do you remember Doritos 3Ds?
Yes.
Yeah. So I remember very vividly waking up at like early in the morning to see this Lost episode, and I was eating Doritos 3Ds with ranch dip. And for some reason that memory has stuck with me for years. I guess it's just because I miss Doritos 3Ds.
I never had them. Were they any different than like from regular Doritos?
I mean, you eat them and they tear up the roof of your mouth like fucking Cap'n Crunch, but they were still really good.
Okay, why does Captain Crunch do that?
Does it?
It's very abrasive, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't recall that ever happening.
I've never eaten it, so I wouldn't know, but that's what everyone says about it.
Yeah.
It's a surprisingly good cereal. You should have some.
It's tasty, but it's like you regret it afterwards because you're like, holy shit, my mouth is like bleeding.
But fucking yeah, that Beauty and the Beach episode, they cut it up to shit. Like, I don't know if you guys remember it or not, but...
I never ever watched the dub of it.
Like, did you watch the original Japanese?
Like a long, long time ago.
So...
I can still remember. The music used to make me smile.
Oh, wasn't there like a version of that episode dubbed that was actually like fully intact?
I don't think so. I mean, they may have dubbed everything and then just cut around it, or just redubbed it later. Because I know specifically they talked about they did dub all the banned episodes at one point.
Yeah, like, and I know that I saw that episode like fully like dubbed at one point, so like I'm thinking like that's probably how it was. Like they just like cut around the like cut material.
Oh yeah, they did dub that episode, specifically that one, and released it, and it was cut up to shit to the point where they basically cut out all the beauty contest shit, and just at the end of the episode, Ash gives his mom a trophy that says "World's Best Mom" or some shit like that. It makes no sense in the context of the episode.
And I knew if I had my chance that I could make those people dance. And maybe they'd be happy for a while.
They would. And then I remember there being some episode in the dub that had a flashback to that band episode, even though like it didn't air for years later. It was just like the most confusing shit.
I think my
hate
favorite
when
part
people
was
do
like
that.
when Ash suddenly had like 32 hours out of nowhere.
Yup.
Oh my god.
Professor Oak just explains that he caught him in the Safari Zone. It's like I knew about that beforehand, but if I didn't, I'd be like confused as shit. Like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah,
here?
well, welcome to my fucking life.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Okay,
what?
so I
When
guess
I
you
was
didn't.
when I was a kid, I just filled in the gaps myself because I knew that there was a Safari Zone episode when they like with the Kangaskhan. So I just assumed that this is just like shit that happened in between.
Well,
That they just didn't cover. They didn't think it was important. Okay, wow, he was in the Safari Zone for a while.
Like-
I spent countless hours in the Safari Zone. They probably thought it would be too long. That's what I thought as a kid.
When I was a kid, like I would like
makes
hear it,
sense.
like occasionally miss like certain episodes, like just because like my parents like taking like go to parks or
Fuck
something.
you! You're not a real Pokemon fan. Get the fuck out of here! You missed an episode.
So I would just assume like, oh, it's an episode I missed. Well, okay.
the funny thing is, they did completely skip over James getting Weepin' Bell. Like, they never covered that in the anime. He just had it one episode. Like the daycare episode. He just had it. And they never explained how he got it. So, like, they did that before without cutting shit. But yeah, I remember them saying at some point they were planning to air the Safari Zone episode. And I was waiting for that forever, and I guess it just got to the point where it had been too long, and they just never released it.
You know, okay, they pointed guns at him in the dub earlier in like the full episode, right?
Yeah. I don't get it.
So what's the deal?
I don't know. There must have been, like, I've never actually watched the original Japanese episode, but I feel like there must have been something else there.
I watched it and there really wasn't much else. It was just kind of no reason for it.
But February made me shiver with every paper I delivered.
Do you guys want to be alone?
Bad news on the doorstep.
I couldn't take one more step
I can't remember if I cried,
when I read about his widowed bride
but something touched me deep inside.
the day the music died.
So, Steve, how is
You can't fucking segue off that so easily. Yes, Mule.
So, Steve, how is the dub turning out for the Pokemon anime currently?
So I don't know if you guys... Did you guys remember when they switched the voice actors?
Season
Yeah.
9,
Yeah.
Yes.
after the pasta episode?
Did you watch that Mastermind of Mirage Pokemon special?
God, no.
So they released a special episode that, weirdly enough, was produced specifically for North America. Like, it aired here first. They made it for us, for like the 10th anniversary or something. They used that, Nintendo used that as a testing ground to do a new voice cast, and it was fucking horrible. They included it on the DVD for Lucario and the Mystery of Mew, so I owned it for a while, and it was fucking terrible. But that was actually the re-recorded version. The original version aired on TV, and it was like even worse. So, like, back when they first switched to voice actors, they were so terrible. But, I mean, I watched all through Diamond and Pearl and X and Y, Black and White, and I've been watching X and Y, and I've really grown used to it. It's really not that bad. In terms of actual dubbed anime, for some reason the dub of Pokemon has always fit well. I hate most dubs because it doesn't really mesh well. For whatever reason, English doesn't work well with whatever is happening in the Japanese. They can't capture it perfectly, I guess, what I'm trying to say. But for stuff like Pokemon that's really simple, it's easy to dub.
Okay, all right. I don't watch a lot of Pokemon, these days. I caught an episode. I think it was Diamond and Pearl because it had the silver-haired douchebag in it with Paul, right?
He had
Paul was the best.
Okay, I caught an episode. It was in the dub.
Yeah.
And there was this guy. It was the Pyramid King. The Pyramid King,
Brandon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. His dub voice, it sounded a little something like this. Every single line was yelled.
Yeah, not everyone's a winner.
Yeah, well,
okay, as someone who's watched a few of the episodes of the Pokemon in Japanese, I cannot say I enjoy the dub at all.
See, I remember when I was watching Diamond and Pearl, and I burned through like 150 of the dub episodes because I was so behind. But then I got caught up, and I'm like, the fucking Sinnoh League was coming up, so like I'll just switch over to watching the Japanese version to get super caught up. And it's like I was okay with it, but I didn't really like it. But I guess it's one of those things where it's like, if there's a show that I watched the dub first, it's hard to watch it the other way around.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because you're used to it.
Yeah, but even like if the dub is not very good, it's still the same thing.
Yeah, no, I definitely, because there are still some shows that I can watch dub just by virtue of like having watched them as a kid. Mm-hmm. But Pokemon's not one of them.
I cannot watch Digimon in anything other than the dub.
Yeah. The Digimon dub is so bad it's good.
Well, that's dub legitimately terrible.
Oh my god.
The Digimon dub is like a joke dub.
Yeah, it's almost like a gag dub. It's so great.
And like it makes it actually kind of work like better somehow, because like the entire show is like they're trying to like work together and like I guess get together as friends, and like it actually makes that dynamic like more reasonable than it would otherwise be.
Like it was legitimately funny at times.
Yeah.
But the best parts were like they would throw in some throwaway joke that specifically referenced something that's not in the Japanese version, which later conflicted with what happened later in the series. Specifically, they make a joke about Mimi having a brother, but she doesn't have a brother at all. So then when you find out later she doesn't, it's just super fucking confusing.
I don't know if I ever told you guys, one time Molly and I decided to watch Digimon on a whim, because it was on Netflix. They sort of recently put it on Netflix, the sub and the dub, and neither of us had really, like, we caught a couple episodes of the dub, but we didn't really, like, watch it, so we were like, why the fuck not? So we watched the sub, actually, and it was the first series, and I don't know if you guys remember, but the Digimon get, like, the shit kicked out of them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
First episode? Yep.
And I kid you not, Molly just fucking bursts into tears in the first
episode
of Digimon.
Wow.
Just, like, fucking bawling.
Did you make it through the whole series?
We watched a few episodes, and then she was like, this sucks.
Oh.
She can't get into... Okay. She will watch the worst fucking shoujo shit on the face of the earth. Like, I'm sure none of you guys have really watched shoujo stuff, but it's all the fucking same. It's always like... It's always like outcast girl falls in love with this, like, edgy guy or something. And it's always the same. And she can watch those shows fucking over and over and over again. But she can't watch, like, fucking shonen shit. Unless it's Rurouni Kenshin. Or Yu Yu Hakusho.
The worst thing about those shows is, like, I really hate the male character designs in them. There's just something
They always
about
have those long-ass faces.
Yeah. It's just fucking weird.
I do like some shoujo shit, because I'm a huge faggot. But... The shows and the manga with like those like long ass face character designs is just I can't. They look so stupid. They look like Sarah Jessica Parker.
I was gonna make a horse face comment, but I guess you just beat me to it. It's fine.
Well, I know that you're in love with him because I saw you dancing in the gym.
Can you sing some songs I recognize?
Well, you don't know that song?
Not from the fucking lyrics.
Really?
It's American Pie.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah, man.
See, like, when you sing it like that, I don't get it. Like, although that's one of the songs where I don't really know the lyrics, but I sure as hell know the song.
You both kicked off your shoes.
Also, that song has been completely replaced by the Weird Al version in my mind.
There was a Weird Al version.
Of American Pie?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't listen to fucking Weird Al.
It was a fucking parody of the Phantom Menace. You need to listen to it. It's really
no, okay, no, I know what that is. Never mind. I just forgotten about it.
It's one of his best songs, actually.
That is no, but that's me with fucking Gangster's Paradise.
Oh yeah, I guess me too. But I've never actually listened to the original version of that song, so I'm not really a music guy.
What do you mean you're not a music guy?
Not a music guy.
Guy.
That's the worst. Like those questions that make you seize up and just like I don't know how to answer this. Whenever someone asks me what's your favorite kind of music or what's your favorite band. Like the thing is, I actually have a favorite band, but like nothing beyond that. And like the only kind of music I listen to are fucking anime openings and fucking video game soundtracks. So
whenever a girl asks me that question, I always give like a total stock answer. I always have it in the back of my mind, and it works every time.
What's
your answer?
It's just like something like, oh man, I really like alternative rock, and I'm a big jazz guy. You know, I've actually like gone and listened to some jazz live. I'm a huge Hendrix fan. I love all the Hendrix stuff.
Oh my god.
It's so...
I don't think I ever told you this, but that was one of the things that like never worked in my relationship with Shauna. So like it was one of those things where like she asked me what my favorite music was, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, what's your favorite band? Like, I don't really have one. Because like I didn't want to fucking tell her. Like the only thing I listen to is video game and anime music. Because she was into that shit. But like, so through our entire relationship, she just kept giving me shit because she thought I didn't like music. It's like, I don't know how to explain this anymore. I've backed myself into such a corner.
Yeah, you played Resident Evil 5.
That's pretty tough. I mean, I do like a lot of mainstream shit, but most of the stuff I listen to on a regular basis is like fucking weird. Like J-pop shit.
I had a teacher in high school who would play K-pop.
Really?
Okay, yeah. No, I actually do kind of like K-pop, despite them being an inferior country. I do kind of like K-pop, and I have a few K-pop albums on my iPhone. But yeah, that's pretty much all I listen to on a regular basis. And it's not like I don't have like regular music, but it's I don't know.
If only Funk was here.
If Funk was here, he'd be like, "Oh, fish, man." Fish, man.
But that's like he clearly knows a lot about music, but that's all he ever talks about, which is kind of weird.
Well, Fish is really good. So
Fish is really good.
Well, we're with our constant talk of fucking anime and Super Smash Brothers.
I like how the one time Kenny isn't here, we're not talking about Nintendo.
I was just about to fucking say we got on that Pokemon bit for a bit, but that's it, and Kenny can't enjoy this. But I guess that's good for him because he always listens to the podcast, even the ones he's in, which is all of them. So I guess he'll kind of enjoy listening to this, actually not knowing what we talked about.
Is Kenny actually our number one fan?
I think he is our number one fan. Well, I guess it's between him and Omega, because I do appreciate that Omega goes in and quotes every funny thing we say, which is, it's great because, like, it's even funnier out of context. Like, he makes us seem like we're the funniest people ever, and I really appreciate that.
I do enjoy that.
Now that we've mentioned that, he's not going to do it anymore.
I was a lonely teenage Bronson Buck. A incarnation and a pickup truck. But I knew I was out of luck.
I knew I was out of luck.
Is that the only song you know?
For right now, it is.
I want you to fucking tell me right now what fucking bands or music were you into as a kid that you're embarrassed about right now?
Let me think. I mean, Linkin Park comes to mind.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed Linkin Park as a kid, and I actually still do now, sort of. There's got to be something.
Sum 41.
I unfortunately was not a Sum 41 fan, nor did I find a shiny ponytail.
I was hoping you were going to reference that, because if you weren't, I was.
Most of the stuff I listened to as a kid is, like, the sort of stuff I listen to now, except, like, I don't know. I never really listened to anything, like, embarrassing, which is weird. I've always listened to, like, anime songs. I've always listened to shit mainstream punk, and I've always listened to pretty much everything else. So I don't know.
I'm embarrassed to admit, and the sad thing about this is I wasn't a kid. There's a short period of time where I really liked Nickelback.
Okay. I'm sorry, but I almost sort of unironically enjoy Nickelback.
See, the thing about their music is terrible, but it's not like hard on the ears terrible.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like it's kind of mind numbing and how I don't know.
I'm not saying I would go out and buy their albums or anything, but I don't find Nickelback offensive. Like I don't get where the whole like Nickelback sucks thing came from. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, but I don't understand why everyone like gets on their ass when fucking like Creed exists.
Yeah, it was one of those things where as soon as people found out like one of their songs sounded exactly the same as one of their other earlier hits, like people latched on that and it kind of blew up from there.
Right.
Although that's funny because like people were talking about that shit 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it just never went away. But I mean, like they kind of perpetuate it when fucking Chad Kroeger goes and marries Avril Lavigne. And then they make that fucking Hello Kitty song. And I'm sorry I had to subject you all to that.
Yeah. Never gonna be forgiven for that, Steve.
Oh, good thing I wasn't here for that one.
Yeah, good thing you weren't.
Oh, guys, okay. Hey,
yes, go ahead.
Did you guys know that you rub toothpaste on a bug bite, it alleviates the itch?
Is that actually confirmed?
It's confirmed by me rubbing toothpaste on my bug bite and alleviating the itch.
I think you're just imagining that.
Get fucked!
Ha.
What would possess you to rub toothpaste on yourself?
Look, I don't know, it was itchy, toothpaste was sticky, it was like, I don't know, it was minty, it smelled minty. It alleviated the itch. Get the fuck out of here. It alleviated the itch. It was gone.
Did you ever hear about that one? I don't think it's true, but it's a really common thing where like if a stingray stings you, you're supposed to piss on it to alleviate the pain.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Like I've heard that regurgitated, and I don't think that's actually true.
Actually, I'm pretty sure urine is actually sanitary.
Well, it is, but I mean, like, I'm trying to think of, like, the person who would just see someone get stung by a stingray and think, yeah, I'll just piss on it, that'll help.
Yeah, you can drink your piss twice before it really starts to become a problem. It's better with asparagus. It gives a bit more of a flavor.
I'll jot that down on my notebook in case I'm ever lost at sea or something.
Oh man, I give such great tips.
So Colin, is that how you survived Mexico?
Yeah, you couldn't drink the water there.
No, I almost survived exclusively on bottled water while I was there.
Yeah, good choice.
Because I was too afraid.
There are too many beer bottles on my shelf.
Why don't you clean them up?
Why don't you make a pyramid out of them?
Because, man, we're doing a podcast.
You know what? I'm in no position to give that kind of advice because on top of my fridge there's about 10 pizza boxes I haven't thrown out yet.
Okay, in your defense, pizza boxes are the worst thing to have to take out.
Yeah, it's like I don't feel like tearing them up to put in a garbage bag, but like so normally what I do is I just throw them out straight into the dumpster. But like I can't carry them all at once, so they just kind of pile up over time. I feel
How can
really
you carry
bad
them at
about it.
once? They're pizza boxes. Just stack them.
Yeah, but they're gonna
like
fall
fucking...
all over the place.
Yeah.
Get good balance.
I have many things, but good balance is not one of them.
I have a clean room.
Oh,
Fire.
are you special?
Yeah, I am. Look at that. Look, the only thing that kind of looks it doesn't look that great aesthetically is the Wii sitting on its side on a nightstand there.
And the dead iguana.
Oh no, that's been thrown out. Don't worry
Your
about that.
iguana died?
Oh, it's not an iguana for one. It is a Chinese water dragon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait,
Thank you very.
You had an iguana?
A water dragon. Thank you very much. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Is that like a fucking Pokemon? Like,
Basically,
Ain't no water
it's-
dragons in Pokemon.
I
Chinese
guess-
iguana.
This is straight out of Henry Zhao's textbook.
Bro, Kingdra. Bro, Palkia.
The penis dragon.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Get out.
Anyway, yeah, a water dragon is probably one of the few animals on the earth that actually does look like it could be a Pokemon.
they're
Along
not
with
both Pikachu.
with the panda.
I almost thought you were going to say it is one of the few creatures on Earth that almost looks like it could be a penis.
I think there are many creatures that could pass for that.
Dude, if my dick looked like a Chinese water dragon, that would be amazing. I would use that as a pickup line.
I mean, you could still do it. You don't have to actually back it up.
I mean, I already used the lightning bolt shaped dick one, so I mean,
What?
I just tell them my dick is shaped like a lightning bolt.
Oh. How does
Like
that
Harry
usually
Potter?
They say, well, they usually just like stare at me for a little while and they splash their drink in my face a little bit, and then I just punch them.
That's the solution to everything.
So, Colin, would you say that your trip to Mexico was worth it?
Yes, it was definitely worth it.
Where's the next trip gonna be?
I don't know. Hopefully, someplace not expensive.
I guess you could go to New Mexico. That's
Hopefully,
almost like Mexico.
someplace where stepbrother doesn't charge like $500 on clothes.
That's a lot.
You could go to Africa.
I mean, the plane trip there would be expensive.
I mean, yeah, the plane trips are expensive everywhere.
Okay, guys, wait. Breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Space
up.
Invaders games film rights acquired by Warner.
Oh. I thought you were going to say Kim Jong-il died again.
Wait, what?
We were doing a podcast years ago, and during the podcast, the news broke that he died.
I don't remember this stuff.
I do, because I listened to them.
Now I feel like Funk.
Yeah.
We should all learn from Rayman.
We should all learn from Rayman. Which game specifically should learn from Rayman?
Rayman 2, because I think that was the popular one.
Rayman
No,
2
that-
should learn from
Rayman-
Rayman 2?
Rayman, the new Rayman. That's the new cool Rayman.
The new man.
Rayman has never been cool. He never will be cool. He's dead.
He was kind of
now.
okay for a minute, maybe.
Legends was a good game.
Let me
Oh
tell
yeah,
you,
that was a game, wasn't it? Rayman
Yeah.
Legends.
Rayman is now buried in the same cemetery as Mega Man and someone else I'm not remembering.
But Legends was
Sonic?
recent.
Sonic's still alive. He's a fucking
No,
zombie.
because like,
but he's
I
still
mean,
alive.
Ubisoft
Legends
still pays attention to Rayman.
Yeah, Legends was a recent game.
Yeah, but no, for sure. But I think at this point, because the series sells so poorly, I don't think we're going to be getting many more Rayman games.
Probably not.
Did it not sell?
No, it tanked.
That sucks. I mean, I didn't buy it, which I guess I'm part of the problem. I am kind of disappointed in that.
At least he'll live on as a trophy in Smash Brothers. Which we didn't talk about that last time. That's fucking weird.
That is weird.
Yeah,
and they just showed a trophy and said nothing about it, and that was it. They also changed the trophy. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I didn't know what was up with that.
Well, I guess it was to make him look less retarded.
Is that possible with Rayman?
Well, I don't know.
Well,
it's one of those things. Well, I guess they're gonna be doing that with more third-party characters. Just put them in as trophies. For some reason, there's a really autistic segment out there who's like, you can't have too many fucking third parties or ruin Smash Brothers forever.
I want Master Chef as a trophy.
It's like, yeah, I can understand, like, I don't want the fucking roster full of things, unless you want to call it, like, fucking Nintendo versus Ubisoft or whatever. But just having them as trophies is fine. There's more to Nintendo's history than just Nintendo themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Trophy's
something
fine,
like
too.
Smash Brothers could benefit from actually including a lot of third-party characters.
I feel like that's gonna be the future. Like,
Yeah, well,
They should go like
because
overboard or anything.
there's so many third-party like IPs that are getting no attention nowadays because the whole Western preoccupation is with cinematic shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the only chance they're ever gonna get to be relevant again.
Like, at the same time, there are still a lot of, like, Nintendo IPs that still are kind of neglected in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, but they're all niche
that's
shit.
true. Yeah, a lot of them are really niche. A lot of them are just like, okay, who the fuck really wants that one fucking puppet from Super Mario RPG? Like, who is so autistic?
I can't believe that there's like, okay, we killed most of the genofags post-brawl, okay? We killed most of them, but
They're
some
dead.
of them, there are still some stragglers out there that you see every now
Can we
and then.
kill fucking
What
Ridley?
is it about
Like-
him? He's not even a fucking character.
Well, he is.
Well, he was a
but
character.
Yeah.
He was only a character in one game.
And
I
no,
still want
Steve.
Isaac.
Steve,
Oh.
Ridley's not going to die because he still tops every single poll on V.
It's never happening. People just gotta get over this.
Maybe they can make him small. Make him mini Ridley.
Ugh.
Oh, Daddy Ridley.
No,
Yeah.
but seriously, I think like at some point, I don't know if just adding a bunch of niche Nintendo characters is gonna be enough. Like maybe maybe
it
they'll do
won't
like a
be.
VS series against
'Cause,
someone
like,
else.
As it is currently, like, the new, well, the newcomers for this game aren't really all that exciting to me for the most part.
I
Okay.
don't think so either.
My friend basically has no idea who any of the newcomers are except for the third parties, and then Rosalina, who he thought premiered in Mario Kart Wii.
Oh God. I guess that is a lot of people. Because like fucking 3 times as many people played Mario Kart Wii as Galaxy.
Yeah.
I find that strange, though, because, like, everyone had a Wii, and yet, like, no one played Galaxy.
Well, I mean, a lot of people played Galaxy, but like Mario Kart Wii was like one of the best-selling games of the generation.
Mario Kart is like always inevitably like the game. Like okay, my viewpoint is bitches like 3 games, right? It's Mario Kart, Little Big Planet, and Guitar Hero.
And one of
So-
those is dead, and
Yeah, no,
Mario
but,
Party
like,
also.
when that was relevant, when that was like a relevant thing to say, those
Yeah.
were the 3 games that you had to have because bitches loved them. So, I mean, keeping that in mind, Mario Kart is always going to be a much higher seller than a lot of other Nintendo games.
oh, for
'Cause-
sure.
They attract like the casualist of the casuals.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then, like, the Galaxy games still sold less than the new Super Mario Brothers games, just because 3D Mario is still a little less accessible than 2D Mario.
Which is horse shit. I don't understand that.
For whatever reason, there's just a certain segment of the population that cannot deal with gaming in 3 dimensions. It's just beyond them.
I don't know. That's just so weird to me because like if you look at like the big sellers now, the sort of people who play those are like, oh, 2D games. I don't want to play that shit. But it's just amazing for me to see like a 2D game succeed so well, while at the same time being so fucking shitty.
Oh, they weren't that bad.
I hate New Super Mario.
I am not a fan.
You just don't like 2D Mario in general. We've established that.
No, okay, I don't like 2D Mario in general, but I try so hard to be objective. And out of all the 2D Marios that I've played, which is quite a few of them, I have to say that New Super Mario Bros. Is the shittiest, in my humble opinion.
I'd have to agree with DL here. It's not really that great.
New Super Mario Bros. U, I will defend that as being great. The other ones, whatever. But
no, I'm gonna be on DL's side here. That's 3 against 1. That basically makes you wrong and gay.
Oh, okay. It's like fucking almost 2 a.m. I'm not gonna fight that. I don't know. Yeah, you're right. Like, I don't think those groups are the same though, DL. I'm not sure who these people are that just can't get into 3D games, but I know they're out there. But
I don't know. It just amazes me that people buy like a video game console and then like buy like New Super Mario Brothers, Mario Kart, and like a Wii Fit, and that's it.
Yeah, well, I get there aren't as many of those people anymore though.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo kind of tapped out that audience big time.
Well, I mean that's a good thing. They really shouldn't be expecting that audience. No one should be.
I think
that was lightning in a bottle.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It was basically an audience that was untapped, but also is only going to get in once. They're never going to get in again because they have really no interest in video games. They just wanted something that was hip and cool.
Yeah, it was a novelty for them, really.
Yeah. Although I fucking read, there was some article the other day. I think it may have been Sony. They wanted to go after that audience that didn't come back to Nintendo with the Wii U. It's like good luck with that.
Well, I mean, if it's Sony, it's definitely not going to happen because they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm really not sure how this generation is going to go, because, well, consoles are dead in Japan. They're fucking not coming back.
Yeah.
The PS4 is still selling out. I don't know if it's selling out, but it's still selling extremely well everywhere else, despite having nothing coming out for it. And then the fucking 360, the Xbox One, there's like nothing they can do to save that singing ship. They fucking cut the price, and they still got massively outsold by the PS4.
Yeah.
No one wanted to buy it for Titanfall, which I guess kind of surprised me. I thought people would be fooled by that one, but I guess
I feel like in Japan, I mean, I can't really speak for anywhere else, but the console market, I think this generation, and this is kind of like a shot in the dark, but I think it's really going to be decided on who captures the otaku audience.
Yeah.
Between Sony and Microsoft.
Yeah.
Because
gee, I wonder.
They're the ones who... No! You say that, but at last generation, Microsoft did really well. Because they had a lot of bullet hell shooters. They had a lot of visual novels and dating sims. Because they reached out to those developers and really wanted those games so that they would sell in Japan.
Yeah, it was one of those things where they didn't sell a lot of consoles, but the people who bought consoles bought that shit up.
Yeah.
You can kind of tell that even Nintendo's kind of shifting in that direction, sort of like not as much as say going for straight up otaku audience, but they're definitely veering towards a more hardcore market than they've been doing for really since the GameCube era.
Yeah,
they are pandering a little bit to otaku, I think, too.
A little bit.
With the whole Muso shit.
Yeah.
Which is primarily primarily a game, but mostly by Otaku and Fujoshi.
Mm-hmm.
It is still a little worrying though, because and we've seen it a little bit with Capcom where they're starting to westernize their games, because obviously there's more of a market outside of Japan now. So like, what's going to happen to all those Japanese developers when it comes to like console games? Are they still going to keep making the same stuff, or are they just going to westernize everything?
Well, I think there's always going to be people that you don't really have to worry about that type of stuff with, like Platinum Games. You probably never really have to worry about that.
Yeah. I mean, you got Platinum. You have like Gust. You have like Compile Heart, which is shit, but still. I mean, all these like smaller developers that, I mean, obviously they care about sales, but not to the point that they would, sell themselves out to such a significant point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do agree with that. I think there's always going to be developers that will make those like traditionally Japanese games, but I don't know. The creativity might stagnate a little bit.
Yeah, but I guess it's one of those things where like I feel like their games have always done well of appealing to everyone. It's not like they've been super niche Japanese games. But then you got a company like Capcom, which just decided to westernize everything for no reason. They just have like no faith in their actual IPs.
Yeah. Right.
My favorite was when the DMC reboot came out.
Yeah.
And it was the lowest selling DMC of all time.
by a fair margin too.
Yeah.
I think what's gonna happen is I mean it's already really happening. Is that we're gonna get in terms of Japanese developers, we're gonna get the ones that are gonna westernize completely, or like really try to capture the Western audience, and we're gonna get the ones that that try to pander to the really niche audiences.
Yeah.
And we're not really gonna get much in between, like shit like Okami, that sort of thing. I don't think anything like that's ever gonna happen. Oh. At least not within the next couple of years. Like a game that could really appeal to anyone.
Yeah, basically it would take something like Nintendo or Sony stepping up and paying someone to make it.
Yeah.
Like we don't care about like how much this game sells. We just want it for our catalog. Right.
And if you look at like the Vita right now, that's all just like underage panty quest. It's just that's all the catalog is.
Would you guys go so far as to say that the 3DS might be like the last bastion for a gaming platform over in Japan?
Well, no, because I'd imagine the Vita's doing okay.
It's picked up a bit lately, but it's still like massively behind the 3DS.
Yeah, it's still like because it's so expensive to develop for.
Yeah,
and you're only selling and you're selling it at a loss.
Yeah, it's
because handheld games, they're cheaper than like console games, but then at the same time the it has like console capabilities in terms of its hardware.
Even the 3DS is not selling anywhere near as good as the DS did.
Oh yeah, no way.
So it's one of those things where I'm also worried, like, well, fuck, the mobile market's becoming big in Japan too.
Mm-hmm. But the mobile market's always been big, hasn't it? Though? Well,
not in Japan.
In recent years.
Yeah,
no.
It's been getting bigger. We make fun of this all the time in anime where they just have flip phones and no one has a smartphone.
Yeah.
Smartphones have definitely finally caught on in Japan. So, yeah, it's like, what's going to fucking happen to handhelds, too? Because you think...
Yeah, and you are seeing a lot of mainstream marketing for stuff like smartphone shit in Japan, and even, like, fucking browser games, like Kantai Collection. It's getting, like, fucking huge. And, fucking, like, Valkyrie Profile and Puzzles and Dragons, which, fucking, like, I wish I thought of. Millions and millions of people. Internationally, even. but it's terrible because it's they're okay games, but they're stuff you fucking like play on the bus or you spend money on.
Yeah. I just know that I really hope there's not a day in my lifetime where consoles are dead, handhelds are dead, and just people playing on their phones, because I just have no interest in that. And I don't care how much better they get. It's just not going to ever be appealing to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, even if it does get to that point, there's always going to be the people who want to develop consoles, want to develop for consoles. So, I don't know. They may not be striving for the cutting edge. And I mean, they're not even doing that now. With the one in the PS4, the Sony and Microsoft are clearly trying to, cut as many corners as they can because they know they can.
Yeah.
But if it gets to the point where there's the smartphone games have taken over the market, I think there is still a chance for consoles to exist, but maybe for more of a niche audience. Which is fine by me.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what happens to Sony because they've been in financial trouble for a long time. And there's really no one else who would step in and want to release a console at this point. Microsoft fucking lost billions just trying to get in, and they've never fully recovered.
Yeah.
So it's like, if Sony goes under, what happens? You're losing a lot of fucking competition there.
Realistically speaking, it'll revert to like more of a 90s state, except with only Nintendo, I guess. Because like consoles were only really like beginning to like get their whole, I guess, boom of popularity when the PlayStation came out, which got like all the normal like people to just get into gaming.
Yeah.
So a worst case scenario would be like Nintendo just kind of being the only thing out there for a bit.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Sony still clearly has an audience. I mean, look at the PSP. They really just have to replicate that.
They can't, though.
Yeah.
That's gone. Like, that's never coming back. Like, the PSP was a weird thing where it's like, they sold a shit ton of them, more than I think anyone was expecting them to sell, but it didn't sell a ton of software. And then they come out with the Vita, and they're not selling really either now. So it's like, it's become like a smaller market, and then the Vita is just a niche of that market now.
Yeah.
So there's just no way to... I don't think handhelds are ever getting back to where they were with like the Game Boy and the DS. But I still hope there's always at least a market for that.
I mean, I don't know about that. I think handhelds will still be going fairly strong, like at least Nintendo ones anyway. Because like, let's face it, pretty much every single handheld, like aside the PSP that was not a Game Boy or DS, failed horribly. Like, the PSP was just like, I guess, a lucky break for Sony. Whereas like, the Vita is more like par for the course as far as competitive handhelds, I would say.
I mean, Sony made some really fucking stupid decisions with the Vita.
Well, yeah.
They've pretty much stopped supporting it altogether at this point.
Oh man, that poor thing.
I mean, it doesn't help that Western developers are not suited to develop for a handheld.
Yeah, they just...
It's really unfortunate because the Vita is actually it's pretty impressive. What it can do.
And it's beautiful. I mean, the first model at least had a beautiful screen.
I don't think they've ever been able to fully capture, though, what Nintendo does with the handheld audience. I think there's a lot of people who just aren't interested in playing, like, what they perceive as inferior version of console games. Whereas you play a handheld Nintendo game, and it's a very different experience from playing a console Nintendo game.
That is true.
The thing that Nintendo does so well is that they design the game for the hardware, like specifically. They take advantage of everything the hardware can do and design around that. For instance, would be something like, even like Square Enix did this, right? Let's see, The World Ends With You. It's a game that's focused on fighting on two different screens at the same time, using both the touchscreen and the buttons simultaneously. That sort of thing could never be done on anything else.
Mm-hmm.
They never try to do anything more than that or anything less than that.
Yeah, I know people are kind of down on Nintendo with...
It works.
Yeah, people have been kind of down on Nintendo with their struggles recently, but I'm really interested in their future because it does sound like they're moving towards merging their handheld and console in some form. They've already said that, like, the way they work so far is they had two different teams developing the hardware, and they're merging those teams together. So you're going to get a more integrated experience. I don't know if you'll see it with the 3DS and the Wii U, but whatever they have after those systems is going to be much more interconnected. I feel like at some point they're going to have to like make a system that can function as both a handheld and a console, and I'd really like to see what that ends up being.
That would actually be really interesting.
I feel like the Wii U is kind of the first step towards that.
Yeah. Because I basically use my Wii U as a handheld anyways, because I play more off-screen than on-screen.
Yeah. Like, a lot of times I'm just, like, too lazy to, like, turn on the TV, so I just, like, bring my Wii U tablet around and just play that.
Yeah.
It's very specific, like, situations where it works, but I mean, like, I only have one HDMI port on my TV, so I can either have my Xbox or my Wii U hooked up to it, so I usually just keep my Xbox, and then I just use the gamepad to play Wii U games.
And I use a CRT, so I have, like, no reason to plug it into that. So.
Hey, if you're playing Pikmin 3, don't go to the Forbidden or the Forsaken Oak or whatever. Don't go to it with the gamepad. The game freezes up.
It does?
It does that to me, yeah.
Oh ho.
Poor Shellblade.
Do you have Pikmin 3?
I do Pikmin 3.
No, I didn't ask you, Mule. I know you have it.
Oh, no, I don't have it.
Sure?
I would
You
have
go get it!
I would have gotten it with my free Mario Kart 8 game, but I have a basic Wii U, so I didn't have enough space to download it.
Oh my god.
Shellblade, you're going to have to buy him Pikmin 3 like he bought you...
No,
wait.
fucking don't buy me anything
What do you
else.
mean? He didn't buy me one. I got one.
Like Mule bought you a headset.
I will get it at some point. Although, like, it doesn't ever seem to drop in price. Just like fucking Skyward Sword, which I want to play, but it's still like $60.
Every fucking Nintendo game. That's... Okay. Out of all the things that Nintendo does, I love Nintendo, but I fucking hate that they, like, artificially keep their prices high.
Yeah.
Because for someone like me, who is always operating on a fucking budget, that means I get to play all of, like, 2 Nintendo games a fucking year.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but...
The worst part of it is, like, when the prices, like, start to dip, like, after, like, years and years of the games being out, they're going to start to rise again, like, shortly thereafter, simply because, like, the games are so old by that point.
That's a very...
Yeah.
I think that's a very specific situation with Skyward Sword, where it came out at the end of the Wii life cycle, so I don't think they continue to produce copies of it like they did with earlier games, so, you know, you go on fucking Amazon, and it's like $70. So it's just not as readily available as everything else was before it, so...
Yeah, I mean... I would love to play both Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, but I don't think I'm ever fucking going to, because I'm not paying $50 for a fucking Wii game.
Well, it's also one of those things where people complain about, you know, releasing all these easy HD remaster ports, but I totally wish they would do that for Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword.
Yeah, definitely.
Twilight Princess desperately needs that, honestly.
I mean...
Because, like, it doesn't look terrible these days, but you can definitely tell it's, like, aged.
I would not complain if they released every single high-profile GameCube and Wii game as an HD port, because I would buy every single one of them.
I would buy 10 copies of Melee.
I think what they should try to do is release an HD F-Zero GX just to test the waters to see if there's still an interest in an F-Zero game. I don't think they should dive headfirst into a new F-Zero game because GX didn't do well.
You know the results would be disappointing.
Yeah, basically it wouldn't sell as well because it'd be not a new game, but then Nintendo can just point to it and say, yeah, people don't care about F-Zero anymore. And it's like...
But then again, didn't Star Fox 64 do really well?
Yeah, but that was also when the 3DS had no games. And also, I think Star Fox 64 is a lot more popular than F-Zero game.
There are tons of totally... I mean, I know people who barely even play video games these days, but they know Star Fox 64. They could quote Star Fox 64.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, I'm the fucking one of the biggest F-Zero fans around, but I've just given up hope. Like, I just understand And it's frustrating because, I mean, I want the game, but I also understand why they don't make them. Because people didn't buy them. But I'm at least happy I got F-Zero GX. Because I feel like even if they made another F-Zero game, they would have a hard time even topping that.
I mean, I can live without F-Zero just because we have sort of the same game in Wipeout.
They don't make Wipeout anymore, though, I don't think.
Do they not?
I think the studio that made it went under.
Oh, really?
It's actually kind of funny that you said that, Steve, because, like, the situation, like, Smash Brothers fans is, like, actually kind of similar. Like, there are some people, like, who just stick with Melee because, like, it's their favorite game of, all
you're
time.
right, but I also think there's more you can do with Smash Brothers than you can do with F-Zero.
Well, I know, it's hard to say about in that case, because, like, I don't know. F-Zero seems like it has, like, a lot of untapped potential.
Other than it being online, I mean, it's hard for me to look at GX and say, yeah, there's things you can do to improve on it.
I mean, not really improve so much as just kind of
It would just have to be the same but different, like different courses, pretty much.
I suppose.
Okay, so we've been going kind of long here, so we're going to wrap up this section of the podcast, and if by some chance you're still listening, it'll transition into whatever the hell we have left from the old one.
No, we need to talk about Halo again so we can, like, splice that in properly.
We really don't.
Wait. We need to pretend. Remember, we're gonna pretend that Kenny was gonna be asleep the whole time, and then someone's gonna be Kenny, right?
Oh yeah, wake Kenny up right now. That was the perfect
DL, you're Kenny. DL, you're Kenny. You're on. You're on.
Wait, I'm Kenny. Okay.
You're Kenny.
Okay. Hey guys. Fuck you. I'm going to bed. I gotta get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to Target.
No, stay around for a little longer.
Why are you an
Fuck you,
aristocrat?
Mule.
Why is Mule playing himself as an aristocrat?
Mule always plays himself.
I'm pretty sure Mule is just a character that other people adopt.
How was that?
Kenny.
What?
Before I lose you to sleep here, I know we're eventually gonna talk about this on the anime podcast, but we have to talk about fucking Sailor Moon.
Do we?
We do. Sorry, Frank, have you been watching this?
Of course I've been watching this. What are you kidding me? It's the best.
You're just fucking full of sarcasm tonight.
No, I love it.
Have you not noticed the fucking quality?
Yo, have you not noticed that I still don't know how to use a computer?
So you only like that because they reference that joke in a different way.
I only like it because it's a good show.
It's really not good.
Yeah, but it's good though.
It's really not.
Yo, implying it's not good.
No, I'm not fucking implying anything. I'm outright stating it's not a good anime.
Look, you fucking nostalgia fag, get the fuck out of
It
here.
has nothing to do with nostalgia.
It has everything to do
All
with
you have to do
nostalgia.
is look at it and realize
I'm
how
looking.
fucking shitty, no budget, fucking original net anime shit is going on here.
Okay, initially it was a problem of nostalgia, because I think the first episode was pretty decent, barring the fucking CGI transformation sequence.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of bullshit, but I mean, Precure does that, and you really shouldn't have expected anything less.
Wait, when did Precure start doing that?
They're doing it now in fucking Heartcatch.
Wait, did they do it in Heartcatch?
No, I think they did, but they're doing it now in Happiness Charge.
Oh, no, I don't think they did it in Heartcatch.
Or maybe I'm getting confused with something else, but they're definitely doing it now in Happiness Charge.
Jesus.
Okay, well, I'll say I've never read the manga, so I feel like.
That's your problem. That's your problem.
I'm fucking saying I feel like they're trying to more emulate the manga in this anime.
That's the point.
I know, and I don't like that point. because I feel like the original anime took what was there and made it better. And you can say it's nostalgia, and I guess it's part of it, but it's also comparing it to something that already exists, and you can specifically point to and say this did it better.
But the most outstanding part of Sailor Moon was that it took the magical girl genre, which up until that point was some girl gets magical powers to solve social issues, or issues with her friends or her family or something. And it took the magical girl formula and made it something darker, and it was basically the fucking Madoka of its time, which is why
I was just gonna say.
Was it really darker?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's just fucking Queen Beryl and shit, and
if you read the manga, it's full of kind of disturbing imagery, actually. And I think that
remember you told me once that it scared you as a kid, and I'm like, I didn't fucking believe you.
Well, Takeuchi is I don't know, her art style is very strange.
It is. It's
the way she draws shit is really, I don't know. The details are just very. I don't know, how would you even describe it, Dio? Especially in the later arcs too, when it gets into the part that they adapted into Super S.
Right. I'm trying to think of a word, but it's it is very hard to describe.
Yeah, it's weird. You have to kind of look at it to get an idea of it.
It's almost, I don't know. It's almost even in the scenes she draws that aren't graphically disturbing.
Right.
Just some of them are disturbing just because the way she draws them, and it's almost unsettling sometimes. I don't know.
And the fact of the matter is she does that without even using color, which is really impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's what I thought was the most outstanding part of Sailor Moon, and
even the designs you can tell are really in the designs in Crystal, I should say, are really influenced by the manga.
Yeah.
It's clearly based on Takeuchi's art style rather than the art style that they used for the anime. And that's why a lot of people found it really jarring at first, because they're so used to the anime art style. But if you look at, I don't know, because you know what, now they've re-released the manga, so you kind of owe it to yourself to give it a shot. But if you look at it, it looks a lot more faithful to the manga than it does to the anime.
Yeah, but I mean, I've seen what the art in the manga looks like, and that's not necessarily to its benefit.
Takeuchi's artwork isn't always consistent, really, because sometimes you'll see her draw a Sailor Moon that looks almost exactly like the one that was in the first anime. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you'll see her draw one that looks like the one in the new anime.
In Crystal, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? It's kind of weird like that, because, I don't know. I guess you're right. Especially in the later arcs and whatnot. When it gets to the parts that they adapted into, S. But, I don't know. It's very weird.
I mean...
I do agree with the viewpoint, though, that the new anime is a little less expressive, I guess.
It's fucking...
Yeah, well, yeah,
they're soulless. They have no, emotion and personality to them. They're just so bland.
I mean,
if you do read... I mean, obviously, you've read the manga, Frank.
Yeah.
But when you go and you read, the first chapter,
right.
I mean, you're going to see, the character designs just, change so frequently.
Well, yeah, definitely.
Just because of, here's a scene with comedic effect, we're going to make the characters look, fat and, small or something. Mm-hmm. And the anime
which is sort of what the first anime kind of did in a little bit. If you look, I don't know. I saw a fucking Tumblr post about this not too long ago, but it was comparing scenes from Crystal to their respective scenes in the original anime, and it was all of them from Crystal. It was just Usagi with the same expression, other than the one where she gets kicked out of the house. And she has the same expression, only with one eye closed. And then in the original anime, she has different faces for everyone. So it's what? Yeah, I can see that shit going on. But
I definitely agree with that. They tried to keep the character design way too consistent in every single scene. which
Right.
is it is kind of jarring because there are some scenes that are supposed to be taken like in a comedic light, and I totally get that argument. It is
I feel
way less expressive.
I don't know. I just feel like it plays it too straight, and I've never felt like I like Sailor Moon, but I don't feel like the actual content of the show is anything special. Like I get it was for its time, but now it just seems kind of boring.
Well, this
I
is supposed to
think
be a
I
love
just
letter
want
to
to-
the old series.
Once it gets going, I think having played it straight will be in its benefit, because it does kind of tread into, you know, slightly more mature waters than the original anime did. So I think you I don't know, you might get a better opinion.
Give it a shot.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna watch it partly to see like how far this train wreck's gonna go, but like I feel like you could do a better mix of comedic and serious, which is what I feel like the original anime was able to do.
I definitely agree with that, and I think the direction is really lacking in this one.
Like, it's just like fucking... This is supposed to be a big anniversary thing, which they've now missed the anniversary of by like fucking years. And like, it's now like they've done this show that they're only doing every 2 weeks, and it's just like, I expected a lot more out of this. It should be way better than it is. But maybe my expectations were just way too high, I guess.
Okay, alright,
I
guys. I'm watching the first episode at, like, super speed right now as a webum.
I love those.
So I'm gonna be totally up to date on this just a little bit, okay?
Alright.
Shellblade clearly knows how to use a computer.
Well, anyway, Precure is Toei's money-making machine, so I don't see why they should give a shit about Sailor Moon anyway.
I linked that fucking Tumblr post that I mentioned before, by the way. I didn't expect
Kenny.
that. Not that the podcast listeners are gonna be able to see it, but
They can see it with their minds.
yeah.
So I started this conversation off by trying to get Kenny involved, and he didn't say a damn word. Kenny.
Why isn't Kenny watching Sailor Moon?
No, he is.
So,
I think he's just falling asleep.
Kenny, are you still with us?
Hopefully we can get a couple of
What?
snores in.
Did you just wake up?
No.
We were trying to talk to you about Sailor Moon.
What about it?
It's shit, right?
you don't playing.
It's pretty meh.
Okay, alright, I finished it.
What's your impression, Shellblade?
It's shit.
I just fucking can't get over that quality, though. It's just like every scene is poorly animated in that second episode. It's just like what little budget they had, they put in the first episode. It's
I mean,
like,
that's classic Toei, though.
yeah, but I mean, like, it's such a discrepancy.
Well, for something that's like, what it's airing like 2 times a month.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's it's fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Also,
Just do it every week.
Also the new dub of the original Sailor Moon sucks.
Shut the
We don't
fuck
need to
up.
go there.
Yes, we
Shut
do.
the
Hey,
fuck up.
no,
I am
we don't wanna
gonna
start
go
that,
out on a
Steve.
fucking limb here.
You
and
shut
say
your goddamn
something.
mouth, Theo.
Let him
Okay.
No.
God damn.
Kenny tells everyone to shut up.
Someone's
The podcast.
furious man here. Oh my god.
Go out on a limb, deal.
The new English dub of Sailor Moon herself, is better than the Seiyu's current voice for Sailor Moon.
She's like 40 years
Stephanie
old.
She
Sheh?
sounds like the new dub Sailor Moon sounds like every other dub female character ever.
Yeah, but at least it's not this fucking Seiyu who's
Okay,
like,
I'll give you that.
I
Wait,
can't
the
stand.
Seiyu in Crystal or the Seiyu in...
Yeah, he means in Crystal.
Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, that's the girl who did it in the original.
Yeah,
so you're
but
obviously
it's
not
20
gonna...
years later, and it's
Yeah,
I know,
she's-
but
she's She's either lost it or she's too old, because it sounds terrible.
But
Okay,
you know
yeah.
what? She just did Misato in Evangelion 3.3, and she can still do that voice just fine. But granted, Misato is a much older character, and she doesn't really need to go that far out of her voice range to do that.
Could somebody please explain to me what's the deal with the Japanese and their inability to just let go of voice actors?
Well, see, I appreciate that most of the time.
Yeah, I really admire that.
But but then you've got like a 70-year-old woman voicing Goku. You know, it doesn't work out.
Goku's voice was never good to begin with.
No, shut the fuck up. Goku's voice is iconic.
You're fucking full of shit.
Okay, I'm gonna come over there and I'm gonna stick my dick in your butt.
Okay, all y'all, picture my face. Picture my incredibly handsome face and my stern eyes, okay?
Oh, you're cute. I would have sex with you.
Yeah, that's the spirit right there. Okay. A woman should not be voicing a male character that's clearly past puberty.
Yeah.
That shouldn't be happening.
What a loser.
It's different, though. It's different.
Is it, though?
So...
It is. That's like a Western expectation.
Well, I mean, it's true, like because male voice changes from puberty onward.
Yeah, but a female can still voice that character.
No, yeah, but that's
okay,
that
like
is...
maybe like up to like man, I'm pushing it here, but like 17, a 17-year-old character. This is as far as I'll go.
That is the Western expectation of realism.
It's real though. That's what happens.
No,
in people's
but like
voices.
no. All I'm saying is
looking for realism, man. I'm not. If I were watching fucking
you sexist pieces of shit.
No, but
Frank,
like
go back to Tumblr.
If you look at Japanese film or Japanese theater, the main discrepancy between Western film and theater is that the Japanese audience has a much higher tolerance for things that deviate from real life, or things that would not, I don't know, that wouldn't fall within their expectations for, you know, what real life would be.
Okay.
And I think that's where the difference between like our expectations for Goku's voice comes in.
I get that part, but I still think it's like too kind of shrill. Like it's not pleasant on the ears regardless.
I'm not gonna say it's the greatest voice, but I understand where they're coming from and wanting to keep the voice actor because she's iconic.
Yeah, and like overall, I appreciate that because nothing pisses me off more than like changing voice actors midstream.
Yeah, the Sailor Moon voice actress did that like 3 times.
Yeah,
so like you got like Terry Hawks, you got Linda Ballantyne, and then there was this other one that was in like 8 episodes.
Okay, well, we've been going pretty long, so we're gonna wrap up here.
But Sailor Moon is the best though.
She is actually my favorite character.
Yeah,
like people find that weird, but
no, Sailor Moon is the best. Of the Senshi,
yeah,
Sailor Moon is the best one.
I think you mean
or the Sailor Scouts.
I think you mean
You're
Sailor
terrible.
Jupiter's awesome.
Terrible.
But what do you think is the best, Kenny?
Jupiter.
Oh, okay, well that's a respectable choice. As long as you don't say Mars.
When I was younger, I had on Mars.
Well,
Mars
Jupiter
is second best.
Yeah, that's what I think too. If I had to power rank them, I would say Moon is at the top, and then Jupiter and Mars are equal, then Mercury, then a pile of shit, and then Venus.
Yeah, like, this kid doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
This kid.
Well, I mean, I've voiced my complaints about Sailor Venus before, but just for the record, I'll state them again. Because Sailor V came first, and then was transferred into Sailor Moon, all of Sailor Venus's traits are Sailor Moon's cranked up to 11, and that's especially apparent in the anime, because in the manga, like, they had this whole little side plot where fucking Sailor V
he's
thinks
done,
that she's the princess shit. Kenny?
Are we finished?
No,
you shut the fuck up.
It would do you good not to interrupt me when I'm talking.
No, I'm gonna
Haven't you ever learned to be polite?
Kenny's getting testy.
Because I gotta goddamn sleep. I'm
Okay,
tired.
we're ending it.
All right, we're gonna wrap up.
Okay.
I was going off on a really good tangent there, and then somebody had to interrupt me.
You shut your goddamn mouth.
You shut your goddamn mouth.
Guys. The other night I was watching Fiddler on the Roof, and I turned to my friend and I said to him, "Tevye, I'm Bolshevik." And then I said, "You don't get to bring friends." He said, "They're not my friends." And some other guy said, "They were trying to steal your prize. They work for the butcher, the bearded man, Laser Wolf. Get him onto the cart."
Oh. Okay, well, good night, everybody.
Good night.